folks, we are live. It's the Infowarrior with Jason Bermas. Stack of news here. All 3 hours, open lines. Before I get into this review of the Obama deception off of EastAfrican.com, making its ways around everywhere, I want to give you a heads up on what we will be talking about in tonight's program. Obviously going to be talking about the 1971 incident where the CIA released African swine fever virus into Cuba. No, the CIA government, they don't have the power to do those sorts of things. Meanwhile, the WHO is now investigating a claim that it might have been a biological accident and it got out. You know, it seems like, here it is, swine flu may be human error. WHO investigates claim. And then we have this other scientist who was arrested for smuggling vials used in Ebola research into the United States. Apparently, a Canadian scientist has been arrested for smuggling 22 vials stolen from Canada's National Microbiology Lab used in Ebola and HIV research into the United States. Canadian U.S. officials said Wednesday. Now, I'm not sure whether or not these vials were contaminated, what they had in them, but it's making news, so we're going to cover it. Some other bizarre news about the flu over at Bloomberg. It's claiming that we're going to have to kill a bunch of chickens next. That's the next deal. UK ISPs refusing to play internet copyright cops. And then in the UK, they have this police pledge program we're also going to be talking about. And this police pledge program, know your rights as a citizen. It's basically setting up tattletale squads in the UK. They've been doing that for some time. 4 arrested for having toy guns. When we covered the story yesterday, kind of. We tried to play the clip, but was being a pain in the arnis of the kid with the gun who supposedly, he pointed that toy gun right at me and we shot him. And then they cuffed him even after they figured out it was a toy gun. Luckily, he survived. But they just arrested 4 kids who were doing this film project for having toy guns. So, no guns for you, no toy guns for you. HR 2159. You're not allowed to have a gun if you're on one of these terrorist lists. And by golly, everyone is. So we're going to cover all that stuff. Plus a poem from Steve in Texas. I got the poem. I figured I'd read it on air. Like I said, I got all 3 hours here. The call-in line, by the way, is 866-582-9933. 866-582-9933. I'm also going to be covering this World Vaccine Congress in Washington 2009. This was in April 20th to the 23rd. So it took place in Washington, Dulles, right before this weird little outbreak we had. And it just goes through all the different companies that were there, how you can make profits on vaccinations. Very loving stuff. With a minute or so left I've got in this segment, I'm going to read a little bit of this review. Conspiracy theories have mesmerized us since the time immemorial. They appeal because they offer an interpretation of which events and people are connected by plan rather than by randomly arranged that strikes the layman. This is a little bit off because I guess it was translated from African. We all search for meaning in our lives, some of us in the powers above. A new documentary by Alex Jones, The Obama Deception, The Mask Comes Off, takes the idea of conspiracy to new heights or new depths, depending on whether you believe it or not. It all centers around the existence of something called the Bilderberg Group. By the way, they kick off their meeting tomorrow, don't they? Little Bilderbergen over in Greece. I won't be going. I'm not one of the 144 most powerful people in the world. Nice to think I am. Not really. But they will be meeting, and they will be setting the agenda, and hopefully Jim Tucker and others who will be, out in Greece reporting on that can give us a call. Let us know what's going on. We will bring you the information first. I'm the Infowarrior. It's Infowars.com, PrisonPlanet.tv, and don't forget my little blog, theinfowarrior.com.
I go crazy, like I'm crazy. It takes patience, lots of patience. Then it's over, sneak over.
All right, folks, we are back. I'm going to continue to read this Obama deception review because it's obviously by somebody who had no idea that this film even existed, doesn't listen to Alex Jones, doesn't know about this show, maybe doesn't follow the alternative media at all. And And then I'm going to jump to this swine flu may be human error, because it's a big, big story. Now they're saying, oh, it may have come out of a lab, but it must have been an accident. See, if it comes out of a lab, it has to be an accident. They can't say, or they'll blame it on a lone nut. But right now, it's just going to be an accident. But we'll get to that story in a moment. All right. Let's see. So let's go back to the Bilderberg Group. It all centers around the existence of something called the Bilderberg Group, started by the Nazi Prince Bernard of Holland, and to this day made up 125 of the richest and most powerful individuals in the world. Since its inception, it has supported hard men like Hitler, Lenin, and Stalin, and is slowly and surely making its way towards world government by international banking and finance interest. Correct. Webster Tarpley, American author and historian, proclaims, there is no right or left. There is only Wall Street. Wall Street has replaced Main Street. Not that this is new. Andrew Jackson was lambasted for refusing to allow a private bank, and the revered Abraham Lincoln spoke prophetically before he was assassinated of the evil power of money, of corporations enthroned. This is how the story goes. 8 years of Bush had brought the American people to the point of revolution. Democrats and Republicans were equally despised, which they were. I mean, Congress had a single-digit approval rating. Do you understand what that means? A single-digit. Well, let me put it this way. Did you ever fail a test? I'm sure you did. What'd you get? Maybe a 40? 40's bad. 30's bad. No. They got like a 9. Okay? That's less than 1 in 10 correct. That's right. So, yeah, people were very upset. Democrats and Republicans were equally despised. So a way had to be found to diffuse the popular anger without diluting the power of Wall Street. The filmmakers have enlisted popular black spokespersons and human rights activists like hip-hop artist KRS-One and Professor Griff to add balance to the argument just in case it was in danger of appearing racist. Well, that would have been very easy for them to do if we didn't have some prominent African-American people in it. That's true. I mean, they would have jumped all over it. There are people out there that want to say, of course he's racist, because he's a white guy and he doesn't like Obama. I mean, they want to make this about race. Remember, if you went to the teabagging events last month, you're a racist. At least, or you hate black people, according to Janine Garofalo. It's absolute ridiculousness. The point being made, like all good conspiracies, this one is secret. The real power remains invisible at all times. Well, it doesn't necessarily remain invisible. It remains elusive. We know who they are. We know where they meet. But it does often take time to figure out what they discuss and how they are going to achieve their agenda, because their agenda leaks too. But the problem is that they own the media, and you don't see articles like this. USA Today hasn't covered it. Newsweek hasn't covered it. I didn't see it at the New York Times or the Washington Post. Did you? The theory goes that Obama was carefully groomed by the elite, which he was. I mean, again, the guy was a state senator until 2004. He then runs for Senate, gets it, and then doesn't even serve out half of his term before he announces his presidency. State senator, not a senator. He was a senator for less than a term. I mean, come on. Which also comprises the Trilateral Commission and the Council on Foreign Relations, correct. 2 of the big think tank groups that do help set policy in this country to carry on their work. The fury created by the Bush years had left the people ready for change. The world military financial axis was in danger. It had to find a puppet to see that its work continued. And who better than a charming, handsome black man like Barack Obama? KRS-One says this is how people were fooled. We thought, now there's a black man in the White House. We can just sit back. But he says that just ain't true. And it goes on. It's actually a pretty fair and balanced article. I hope people go check it out. I'm sure we're going to post it over at Infowars.com. It's now the Obama conspiracy theory. So definitely go check that. All right, let's jump to this story.